Hey everybody, Hamster Sales here with a Starcraft 2 commentary. It has been a while. I actually just recorded about half of this game, maybe more, and realized I had not started recording. That's how you know it's been a long time. But I'm happy to bring you this ZvZ on Nezarim Crypt. The second time I've been babbling about it in a room by myself, but the first time you are hearing about this particular game. I'm playing Pimaville, the blue Zerg in the lower left, my nemesis for this game, my mirror-matched brethren. This is the second game I've played on ladder since I've been back from my vacation. Even though I spent it in my own house, it was a bit of a vacation from work, had some family visit, and as such I didn't play the same amount of StarCraft I normally do. And I was excited to get back to it. This was a pretty fun game. I hope you enjoy watching it. Yeah, Zerg versus Zerg. Super volatile matchup, of course. I'm going ahead and scouting in the incorrect position, so is my opponent, incorrect direction in that we won't find each other. But I actually consider this the correct way to scout on this map, especially against Terran. It of course doesn't really matter which way you send it as Zerg, but if you were sending your Overlord toward a Terran's base and you sent it, say, this way, you'd come right at the barracks, and the first Marine that pops out is going to kill your Overlord. So you want to think about which direction you send your Overlord, of course, and this would be the correct way against a Terran, and I like to keep the habit even in Zerg versus Zerg. This is of course correct against a Terran because even if there's a Marine waiting for you right here, you can simply float back across the cliff and then into the safety of this little voidy area. He has the same idea, potentially, Pimaville, or else he's just scouting this direction because he felt like it. We're not going to find each other, though. Looks like I'm doing the better job of sending my Overlord to the middle of the map. I consider this a better spread because he's just kind of gonna belatedly scout this if I were even here. I mean, I guess it's useful, but you know, I don't mind scouting a little later with my Zerglings. I guess this is fine, not this part. And if he runs into this Overlord, he knows where I came from, but then again, I would get the same information. So that's just a few thoughts on Overlord initial scouting. Why not talk about it in this early stage of the game where not much at all is going on? Here's where our tech is deviating, though. My opponent has gone for a fairly early Roach Warren. As it turns out, it's going to be very important what he does with these initial roaches. It's what I make a pretty big read on it, I think. So I'm going to talk about that pretty soon. I'm going for a fairly standard Baneling timing. I'm not getting my tech too early, I don't think. I feel like he got that Roach Warren super early. And I'm going for some just fairly standard defensive Banelings was my mindset for these Banelings here. I'm going to be scouting with these two initial lings. I really don't mind scouting with, waiting to scout until ling. And apparently this guy doesn't either because he is not scouted with any type of ground unit yet. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you scout this late, you can still get plenty of information. And here we go with these roaches. It looks like he's not gearing up to attack with these roaches first, or rather I know that because I just played this game, but it looks like he's going for kind of defensive roaches but expanding at the same time. So yeah, roaches are great on a ramp to defend your main, but he's got this super vulnerable natural expansion now. And he did beat me on the expansion timing by quite a bit. Looks like he might have gone for some kind of 15 hatch into early Roach Warren build, which is very interesting. And he does have these roaches out early, which are of course pretty good against Zerglings and very good against Banelings. Completely nullify early Baneling play for the most part. But you know, I scouted these early roaches on the ramp, and I decided to go for a Ling Flood because I'm going to go ahead and assume he doesn't have Banelings. He's going to invest his early gas in roaches, and I completely pull all gas production, I believe. Yeah, I have done that. And I'm going to get layer behind this. And I feel fairly confident in the early game and around this time that a massive amount of Zerglings is going to be able to deal very well with any number of roaches. I don't expect to be able to breach his ramp and end the game because roaches on ramps are extremely powerful against Zergling Flood. But I do think I can kill this hatchery, and we'll see if I can do that. How many Zerglings do I have at this point? I'm up to 25. Pretty decent flood is coming, it looks like. And yeah, I just want to do damage behind this, and what I'm going to do is as soon as these Zerglings move out, I'm going to cut Zergling production. I'm going to drone like crazy, because at this point I'm down pretty heavily in the drone count, and it's pretty all in if I don't start drone production, so that's what I'm going to do here. And I know he's got these roaches on the ramp. That's his idea, to defend his main with these roaches. So I'm going to concede his defense of the main, but I'm going to get me a yummy natural expansion. Also catching some roaches out of position. This queen is out in the middle of nowhere firing spines at my overlord. She's unfortunately going to die. And I'm going to destroy this hatchery. And this another queen, yet another queen. And these two roaches get a little feisty too. Going to pick them off. You know, I may have been able to even break the main there. This roach got pretty low on health. Probably could have killed him, surrounded these roaches, and ended the game right here, honestly. But he is reinforcing with more and more roaches. Maybe could have got there in time to defend the ramp. And I am happy with my hatchery kill. And like I said, I was droning behind it. Don't know if you kept an eye on the unit tab as I was going on. And I am now ahead of him in drones. I have a second base. My income should be a fair amount better. Yeah, about 30% better. Around there, maybe 25% better. And I've taken the economic lead, as well as just the lead of the game in general. I've got speedlings for great map control. I'm not scouting the map too well right now, unfortunately. I should have left a ling at each of these towers. But you can't blame me too much. I don't think it's just my second game back from not having played in a while. Gonna try to get a scout of the main with this overlord. It looks like he's not gonna make it. The queen's gonna kill him. And yeah, I've got a pretty firm grip on this game. His early lair though gives him this overseer, which I don't know how much scouting he's done with it. Not too much yet, though. He did scout. No, he scouted my lair quite a while. My spire quite a while ago, and that is something else I've neglected to mention. I did go for spire right after that attack, and I had assumed during this game that I beat him to my spire timing, but in fact his is going to finish a little bit ahead. Though the contrast to that is that I've been mining more gas geysers for longer. He's just now getting his geysers back up at his natural that he replanted right after I killed it. And I'm going to be able to produce way more mutas faster than he's going to. He's also getting this, yeah, there it is, the infestation pit, which is an interesting choice. I'm not sure if he plans to get muta and infestors. Not sure exactly where he's going for that, or maybe some kind of fast hive is his plan at this point. It's hard to tell, but he's not yet gotten the second saturated. He's getting a couple of mutas, which can be quite good. He's probably hoping to catch me off guard with a mutaless flock at some point to try to get back into this game. But at this point he's got a kind of a weird mix, a little bit of roach, a little bit of muta. And I'm going to be coming in with these 5 mutas trying to do some damage. Looks like I'm going to come in through the top, probably be scouting the spire very soon. His ramp is super protected once again, but you know, honestly I could just do the wing flood again. I mean, he didn't get banelings, which was kind of what I was expecting, to at least get a few defensive banelings. And but instead he's rushing for all this tech. He's getting an infestation pit and some mutas. The infestors will be great against the mutas, of course, but he's spreading himself a little bit thin right now. I'm able to kill a single mutalisk, losing a mutalisk fairly carelessly to some spore crawler fire. And this queen and this mutalisk drive off my relatively low mutaflock, so I didn't have most mutas to come in there and do super huge amounts of damage with. Probably should have waited for my second wave, and I could have caught him a little more off guard. But in the end, he didn't know they were coming anyway, so that's a decent little poke in. Behind that, I started to take my third. He's still struggling to get saturation at his natural. So yeah, it looks like I sent him pretty far behind, or else he's just really slipping with his macro. Both of us keeping our resources relatively low. I don't think I'm transitioning into any kind of new tech. I'm just trying to set up a little wall here of evo chambers and spine crawlers. I don't think I'm setting up the spores yet because I don't remember scouting this infestation pit initially. It's actually, yeah, I remember something else tipped me off to the infestors, not actually when I should have noticed it when I was fooling around in his main. So that's a lesson to everybody: when you're poking in with mutalisks, don't get satisfied with that first initial tech that you scout. Look around while you're trying to do damage and notice that he has a friggin' infestation pit, because this comes back to bite me a little bit pretty soon, actually. As you'll see here, looks like I'm going to do another poke in with this increased number of mutalisks. I think I've got around 10. No, I'm up to 16 mutas. So I'm going to try to do some damage with that, but he has infestors out, he has the energy upgrade, they are ready to fungal things. And these mutas may be the things they fungal. We'll have to see here. Moving in, gonna do some damage. Should probably pick off that queen, but I remember having them on hold position for some reason, and they get fungaled, all but two getting fungaled. Does he have enough energy and enough queen fire to kill all of them? No, it looks like he kind of whiffed on that last fungal. All these guys were able to escape it. But he does kill about 3 mutas there and do terrible, terrible damage to the rest of them. Actually, he may have killed quite a bit more. No, I had around 16, unless some of them were chilling back at base. Yeah, most of them must have been chilling back at base, because I think I only lost 2 or 3 there. But still, I mean, he's chilling on 2 bases. Just now having saturated his second, not yet taking a third, instead electing to spread some creep and get another tech path. He's getting Hydralisks, which is actually not a horrible mix. I mean, Roach, Hydra, and Fester are pretty standard. And of course it's going to be pretty good against Mutalisks normally, so we'll see how effective this is for him. In the meantime though, I am starting to saturate my third, getting some gas geysers going there. Don't know how long it takes for me to get my drones on these precious, precious geysers, but hopefully it's soon. Let's not stare at that too long. And for now, I'm pretty happy to actually stick with Mutalisk Zergling. I haven't yet scouted these Hydralisks, but frequently when I go Muta, my opponents end up getting Hydralisks, which I consider largely to be the absolute worst unit in the game, let alone for Zerg or any race. They're just absolutely horrible. Complete powerhouses in Brood War, but Blizzard went ahead and gave them the light armor type, which makes them super vulnerable to a myriad of things, including Banelings. Keep that in mind. You know, they have very low amounts of health. They're physically a little larger than they are relative to other units than they were in Starcraft and Brood War, I'd say. And of course, they have this nice mechanic where they run very quickly on creep, but off of it, they are absolutely atrocious, able to be flanked very easily. And with the unit's tendencies to clump up in Starcraft 2, you know, Hydras just bite the dust to any kind of AoE, fungal, banelings, tanks, colossus. You know, just things you see in almost every single game of Starcraft. So I feel like when you go Hydralisks, you really, really do yourself a disservice. And we'll see if that's the case in this game. I do only have Zerglings and Mutalisks, which are not the absolute best thing against Hydralisks. Though, of course, like so many things, Zerglings are actually quite good against Hydras, and Mutas in bulk actually not that bad either. But combined with Fungal, these Hydras have the potential to completely devastate my Mutalisks, so I'm going to have to be very careful. And to this point, I don't think I've scouted these Hydras. I have, though, taken a 4th and 5th base, and I have good vision on his 3rd. I know he's not yet taken a 3rd. So I can pretty much expect an attack pretty soon, is what I was thinking at this point. That he's not taking his 3rd. He's getting huge creep spread. I haven't yet scouted the Hydras, but it's actually a fairly safe assumption when we see huge creep spread with Zerg. The Hydras are coming, because that's one of the main reasons to to actually spread creep, is to make your Hydras actually mobile. That single Mutalisk in his army is actually giving him some nice vision, so that's interesting. No speed on his Zerglings or Roaches, a bit of a blunder on his part, but he does have, yes, the +2 range upgrade, which is actually quite nice. And he's got Infestors, so his army does certainly have the potential to take down my huge number of Mutalisks, which is currently at 24. I take that back, not the hugest number. I do see this attack coming though. I'm gonna burrow all my drones, I believe. Didn't I tell them to burrow? Oh, I think I tried to tell them to burrow, but I have not yet researched it, so that's why they all died. Sorry guys. Better luck next time. Do I have burrow on the way? No. Yeah, I mean, why would I get burrow? I'm going Muto Wing. I think that was the other game I played today. But yeah, he scouts these 4th and 5th bases, taking them out quite easily. I'm electing to just max out. Every time I lose a drone there, I'm going to replace it with army. And did I build? Oh yeah, I did build some Banelings here. And okay, that's what happened to those. I didn't realize it when I played the game, but they were just absolutely massacred by this force, as to be expected. And he's cleared out my 3rd and my 4th and 5th. Hasn't expanded behind this, which is a bit of a shame considering he's floating some minerals. But he's nearly maxed. I'm nearly maxed. It looks like it's about time to show down here. But on this map, on Nezarim Crypt, it's very smart if you do get a 3rd to set up a nice little spine crawler wall with a relatively low surface area. You can defend all your bases. I did before have these spore crawlers in the back. I think I moved those up pretty soon. I am somewhat concerned about burrowed infestor play rather. And he's going to move in here with this pretty large army. And he's attacking right into the spines. I go for a pretty big muta spread, as you can see there. They're not going to be super vulnerable to fungals. I did more from banelings for the hydralisks. We'll see how effective those are. They are super effective, folks. Banelings absolutely massacre hydralisks. And with 24 meters in support, you're going to do pretty well against that type of composition. Pimaville is similarly impressed with my Baneling composition, or maybe he's QQing a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and guess the latter. I'm not sure though. I don't think he elaborates on his exclamation there. I do see these drones getting the long distance minerals. I think he killed my scouting Zergling, or else these drones lured him back to their death. Doesn't have nearly enough hydras to kill this number of mutalisks. I do try to spread them a little bit in case he went for infestors, but able to kill the reinforcing hydralisks, mop up his queens, and I think that's going to be all she wrote, folks. I actually meant to talk a bit more about how I engaged in that last battle. What I did is I sent all my mutalisks to the top of the map here and tried to spread them as best I could. You did see them come in for the attack there behind this to back up the spines. And they were pretty well spread. I don't think he got too many fungals off in general. I think the cool thing about Ling Baneling Muta against infestors is that if you send your Zerglings in first, often, I mean, and really they're forced to, your opponent will spam fungals on the Zerglings in order to try to take care of them, and you're free to then move in with your Mutalisks, especially if they're fairly well spread. So it's something I've had a lot of success with in ZvZ lately. When I say lately, I mean this one game that I've played super recently, and then in games previously, it's something that's worked very well for me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching it. ZvZ on Nezarim Crypt was a lot of fun getting back into casting, and I hope you enjoyed it. GG.